Who was the best passer in the Bundesliga? Let's find out using data and the SQL group by functionality. I have loaded passing data from the StatsBomb API, which is delivering us free data for competitions in the past, into an SQL server, and that's what we are going to look at now. Based on the data available, I have created a view which retrieves us only the passes from the Bundesliga season 2015-2016. Let's have a look what we are dealing with. All right, first column, we have our player name, then we have a team name, we have passes completed, 1 means completed, 0 means not completed, and then pass attempted, which is always a 1 because one row is always one pass event, and then we have a pass outcome, complete, incomplete, and some other types. So who's the best passer? I'd say we will be looking at our pass completion ratio, which we can calculate based on the pass completed and pass attempted columns. Before going into it, let's have a look at the pass outcome. I want to see only the distinct pass outcome values to see what we have in here. Okay. We have 6 different types of outcomes. We have complete passes, which we are definitely interested in. Then we have pass offside, which is something which is definitely not completed, I'd say. Injury clearance. This is when somebody is injured on the pitch and somebody intentionally passes into the out position. So this is something we don't want included here because it does not really show if somebody is a good passer or not. So let's exclude this one. Not in, just copy paste it in here. The same goes for unknown. We don't really know what's going on there, a little bit unknown in the data. Out or incomplete are definitely things we want to count as not completed passes. Good, this is our where condition. All right, let's go back then to our full query. We have the player name, we have the team name, we have pass completed and pass attempted. And there we are. Over the season, we have 292,590 passes registered with our filter now. Now we have 1 row per pass, but we want 1 row per player. So we know for each player the sum of our completed and attempted passes. This is now where the group by comes into play. So we group by our player name, and also let's include the team name in the final data set. So we have 1 row for this combination, which should be unique per player name. So in the end, we will get 1 row per player name. And here, these ones, the pass completed and pass attempted, we don't want to include in the group by, but we want to aggregate them. So we keep player name and team name in the final select, but the other 2 we will just sum them. Pass completed, and we will make a sum of pass attempted. Running this gives us now a list of 487 players. And for each player, we know how many passes they have completed and how many they have attempted. So this begs now for a ratio. We need to divide those 2. And this is how we do it. We have our numerator in the division, the passes completed, and we divide them by the sum of the passes attempted. And this is in our pass completion ratio. And when I run this, we have added this additional column here, but we see 0. Why is that happening? This is because those 2 are integer values and we need to switch to decimal calculation. And we can just do that by converting the first one of them to some big decimal number, and like this we have then our ratio over here. So this was read, we have 75% pass completion for IET. Now, to find the top one, we need to order by our pass completion ratio in descending order, so the best one is on top. Now we see that Milos Pantovic, who only played one pass, and this pass was successful, has a completion rate of 100%. While we could say that he is the best passer of the season, I think we should account for a minimum number of passes played. And this is where we come in now and have some logic. So how do we do it? All right, let's say we want to count only the players who had at least 1,000 passes in that season. Now, if I try to filter here in the where clause and say and pass attempted bigger or equal to 1,000, this will not work. Why is that? If I execute, I get 0 result, even though there were some players who had more than 1,000. The where clause is evaluated per row before the grouping. And if you remember, let me show it to you again. If I am only interested very quickly in this data again. And here we can see what's happening. We have, for let's say André Schürrle, a lot of entries here, and each of them have pass attempted equals to 1. So this will never evaluate to pass attempted bigger or equal to 1,000, because it's always a maximum of 1. That means we need to take this filter after the grouping. So we need to filter by the sum. And this is something we cannot include in the where clause. If I try this, I will get a syntax error. Running it, and we get the information aggregate may not appear in the where clause unless it's contained in a subquery, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So what this says is the where is always just working on a row level, but we need to filter on the result of the grouping, like after the grouping stage. And this is where we need to introduce another keyword. This is the having. In the having clause, this one is evaluated per group, and here we are allowed to use aggregation. So I move this one over here to the having area. So now it starts to look quite complicated. Select from where, group by, having, and then order by. And this is also the order that the keywords need to appear. But this is what we want. So we first group by the player name and also the team. And from all those groups, we only want to keep the groups that are having the sum of passes attempted bigger or equal to 1,000. So let me remove this one down here and run it. And there we have it. It's Joshua Kimmich, who has a pass completion ratio of 92.5%, or a ratio of 0.925. Quite impressive, considering that he was still quite young in 2015, 2016, but also then he was a passing monster. So now let's have a look at the top passer per team as kind of a bonus here. We have already the team name in here, and let's just go ahead and order this by team name as a first column, and then by pass completion ratio. And there we have it. As you can see, for Augsburg, we have 6 players who had at least played 1,000 pass attempts in that season. And the best one would be Ragnar Klavan. And my club, let me scroll a little bit through here, would be Werder Bremen. We have Yannick Westergaard with 75.9% pass completion ratio. And there you have it. The group by and the having clause in SQL on a practical example, finding out that Joshua Kimmich was the best passer in 2015. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will try to get back to you.